The Grenville Arms Hotel is one of Ireland's oldest hotels and dates from 1750. It is one of the few surviving Irish hotels known to James Joyce and immortalized by him in his writings. The hotel bar is called Ulysses. His life-size wax figure from the original Death Mask is on display in the hotel. Anne Brooke, and I don't care for which. They've got a big museum up here on the second floor, and Josh, Susie, and Eva could spend the history of Mullingar. This is the best pub in town in Mullingar, according to my family.
The best Guinness.
They had the best Guinness. They're not known for the food, just Guinness. It's Joe! Hi, Joe! This is all about Joe Dolan, interesting facts, who was born in Mullingar. His songs in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000. You have no idea why it's called Market House. The lady who owns that shop came here from California and serves a great all-day breakfast. That looks wonderful.
I know, I'm just like trying to see what
Irish Night at Larry's and Mullingar, birthplace of the Comhaltas and First Fleet traditional music.
again.
That's James Joyce again, and it's called The Chambers?
Yeah.
There'd be traditional Irish music on a Thursday here.
On a Thursday, which I will be gone. This used to be Susie's hangout spot in Mullingar when she was younger, a nightclub.
They
A
sold out a
chocolatier.
Dubai chocolate. They were in all the newspapers. They had to.
And what about this weird-looking hotel, Susie? You here, so you can hear an Irish accent. Tell me about the hotel.
I have no idea.
She has no idea. Choo-choo! Here comes the choo-choo!
Mom would know. Yeah, it tells you there. Yeah.
The 1916 Centenary Memorial is surrounded by an Irish stone wall with 7 native Irish trees representing each of the 7 signatories of the 1916 Proclamation of the Irish Republic. That is the Kerry Bridge, and this is what the original Kerry Bridge looked like. It was once a location of Mullingar's horse and wool fairs.
The
Royal Canal. It goes all the way to Dublin. And I'm off.
Hi, how are you? Press the button.
Another old church. It turned the church into a restaurant. It's like they tore down Paradise and built a parking lot. We are spending the morning in Belvedere, where centuries of stories come to life. You can see the Jealous Wall, Ireland's largest folly, a monument to just one of those amazing tales. It's bound up in the characters and passions of its owner since 1740. The Georgian home belonged to the wicked Earl. The adventure starts here. Famine near the Jealous Wall. The Jealous Wall was erected in 1760 to block the view of his estate from the neighborhood. Robert, is it pronounced Rochfort? How do you Rochfort?
Yeah.
The first Earl of Belvedere became known as the Wicked Earl. His brother built a nearby house, but its back was facing Belvedere, which infuriated the Earl, who built the structure to block his view. It was designed to look like a ruin, and after nearly 300 years, it's still standing. Agoo, the pet bear! He was rescued in Kazakhstan. He was a 3-week-old bear cub, and it became his companion. He brought it here to Belvedere House, and he would wrestle with it in the gardens.
The bridge, if you like.
This sculpture honors King Malachy, who was buried on the island of Crow Innis here on Loch Ennell. He was the High King of Ireland and successors to Brian Boru. He was buried in 1022. Make it up here. I should crawl like Eva. Right? Oh, like that. Ireland is always beautiful for its historic sites. Hi! Hi! Am I queen? Am I queen for a day? You gonna sit? Graceful Gigi. Gigi is short for great grandmother. That's Gigi. Oh. Now I think I can make it. Here, why don't you talk?
From this point, you can see the two wonderful buildings that give this house and its grounds so much character. To the left is the octagonal gazebo, a folly built around 1760. It was a viewing point and used for occasional picnics in the summer. Look to the right and you will see the Gothic arch, another folly built to add a sense of mystery to Belvedere House.
Wait, stop for a second. So that's the octagon, that's the gazebo.
This is the gazebo.
Okay, wait, let me just...
Yeah, of course. And then beneath your feet is a different type of stonework, a cobble path that allowed coaches and horses access to the house.
It was part of the cobble path that they kept.
Here, yeah, for the coach.
So much better to hear Susie's beautiful Irish lilt than my Midwestern twang. Thank you, Susie.
Of course.
And here's a gorgeous lake.
Wow.
The Pilgrims. This pilgrim is wearing the shell, the symbol of the way of St. Jacques. In medieval times, monks from Mullingar walked the ancient Spanish trail called the Camino, or Way of St. Jacques, a distance of 800 to where it ended at Santiago, Spain. There is a 22 walk to 4 or from 4. It takes about 6 or 7 hours. And approximately every 4 kilometers along the trail, there are designated stops. Here I am, with Mullingar reflected behind me. Lots of Sheilas, and I'm certainly in the right place, Ireland, for Sheila. We are taking a walk to St. Bridget's Well, the first female saint in Ireland. There are magic powers. I've got to make a wish. Famine graveyard with a workhouse. In 1842, a workhouse was capable of housing 800 paupers. Black 47 and 1849 were the worst years of the famine in this area, caused by the total failures of the potato crop in 1846 and 1848. The busiest enterprise in the workhouse was the carpenter shop, where 616 coffins were made between January and September 1849.